Next, I think we'll take a look at the alternate engines pack. So, we've already done a video on all the Thomas variants, and while I do think that the paint splattered Thomas and the bubble Thomas are kind of lackluster since they're from the hit era, I still gotta say they're pretty good models, along with Coal Dust Thomas. But anyways, so again, we're gonna start from my least favorite to favorite in this pack. First, we'll take a look at, okay, is it really any contest at this point? I'm not a fan of the hit era. Here we have Busy Bee James from the episode The Green Controller, which is, in my opinion, one of the most frustrating episodes regarding the Three Strikes formula. So, Percy is in charge of the railway since Sir Topham Hatt lost his voice. And while I think, oh cool, Percy's going to be the controller for a day, this should be interesting. Well, he's tasked to do 3 jobs for 3 engines. So he has to tell Gordon to pull the express. He has to tell James that he needs to be busy as a bee, and he wants Toby to no wait, hold on. I think the problem I have with 3 Strikes formula is that 1, Gordon is pulling a slow goods train, I think. James is painted as a busy bee, and Toby is pulling the express. Okay, there's so many problems I have with this episode. 1, I think the most cringeworthy moment is when Percy says, I hope Sir Topham Hatt finds his voice. Dude, when Lady Hatt says Sir Topham Hatt lost his voice, she means he's just sick, not literally lost his voice. Look, I know Percy is very naive and stuff, but Percy was never a coward. Yeah, Percy had his moments in the classic series, but he was still a good engine. He was still pretty happy-go-lucky and always wanting to pull the mail, and he was very nice to engines like Toby. But Percy was never this stupid. So why would he actually, have James be painted in Busy Bee colors? Is it for merchandise purposes? Because Hit Entertainment really loves pushing their limits and, trying to cash in as much as possible. Yeah. Do you see why I'm not a fan of this era? Because of the 3 Strikes formula and the boring writing. And how stupid the characters can act sometimes. Although I will admit, much like the paint splattered Thomas, I'm not gonna lie, this is a pretty good model, but still, I do not like the Green Controller for many reasons. It's mainly just because Percy assigns these engines the wrong jobs, because, of course, we always gotta have the characters not listen in order to, appeal to the younger audience, and so that to teach kids that we all make mistakes. Dude, there are other episodes in the classic series where the characters make mistakes, but they learn from it without acting like complete imbeciles. Okay, take a look at Percy James and the Fruitful Day. It's an episode where Percy, takes James's boxcars and he crashes into sidings, but I don't think it was technically his fault. The points were jammed. He just wasn't looking, but Percy was never this stupid in that episode. Or how about the episode No Joke for James? Because it's about James, tricking Gordon into thinking... No, wait, tricking Thomas into thinking that the coaches belong to him and the cars belong to Gordon. But what happens? He gets punished by Sir Topham Hatt. And I know that the ending of the episode has nothing to do with the No Joke for James plot, but still. There are a lot of classic Thomas episodes where the character will make a mistake, but they learn from it. Buffer bother anyone? Duncan? Heck, faulty whistles? Okay, I'm sorry, I know. But I just had to tangent about this because I just need to vent out my frustrations. But still, if you like the Green Controller, that's fine, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. One day I do plan on doing a rewrite of the Green Controller, but instead of the 3 Strikes formula and stuff, I would try to like make the episode where Percy has to be in charge of the entire railway while Sir Topham Hatt is sick. Much like in the original episode, but I would have the conflict be like Percy has a hard time like controlling every single engine, like giving all of them a certain jobs, and then they have like a sort of traffic jam, and in the end Thomas has to help Percy out. So yeah, it would be nice to do a rewrite of the Green Controller and a few other hit era episodes that I'm not a fan of. Okay, we're already 5 minutes in. Let's just continue. Be gone. Okay, was that meant to be a pun? Because, get it? He's B. Okay, I'll stop. That was just funny. Okay. Anyways, next we'll take a look at, okay, this really isn't much of a, like, variant of the actual show. This was more in the game Tiny Tank Engines Remastered. So, again, these are all part of one of the game passes in the game. Again, credit to Thomas Ventures for the design. Wait, for making the actual game. I was just inspired to 3D print my own Bluebird trains, thanks to that game. Okay, so here's the Cocoa Cake Factory Thomas. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on him because it's just a brown Thomas with pink lining, but yeah. I mean, there he is, like, I don't know what to say about him again, like, but he looks cool. Okay, now let's actually get into the good stuff here. So first we'll take a look at the party poster Edward from the episode Trevor and the Really Useful Party. Now, this would definitely be I mean, it's a pretty good episode. I don't know if I call it one of my favorite episodes of Season 3, because, like, there are better ones out there, like All at Sea. Yeah, there are a few other great Season 3 episodes as well, like Percy's Promise, A Scarf for Percy. Like, I can see why a lot of people love Season 3 so much, and why they would consider it their favorite. So, here's Edward, getting ready for the Sodor Garden Party. So, Edward has this brilliant idea to put posters on his sides of his coaches, so that way people can come to the party, since I think the vicar actually forgot to, like, put up the posters, so no one will know where to go. But do you see why I love this episode? Because Edward has one of the brightest ideas. Yeah, like, I also think I love the scene where, like, Bertie gets stuck in the mud and Terrence and Trevor have to save him. But yeah, I don't really know what to say about Edward, Trevor, and the Really Useful Party, but it's a good episode. I think you should watch it, as well as the other Season 3 episodes. Okay, well, James Goes Buzz Buzz was my least favorite as a kid, but I still like it nonetheless. But yeah, there's the party poster. Now, I couldn't really, like, actually print details that small or, like, write that small, because, like, I just think it would look kind of weird, but so I just painted purple, blue, and green as well. But to be honest, he still kind of looks like the party poster Edward. I mean, this is basically just like the normal Edward with posters all over him, but still. Edward has always been one of my favorites. So yeah, if you like Edward, Trevor, and the Really Useful Party, please tell me in the comments below. Now let's get into what I consider an underrated classic. Paint Pots and Queens, or Thomas Meets the Queen, if you like the US dub. But here's Gordon, the royal version of Gordon with the white buffers, and okay, now he's supposed to have like these little like boards on the sides of him, like type of frame things. I don't know what they're called. And it's supposed to be like some sort of like logo or symbol on there, but I can't really remember what it is. If you would let me know, please tell me in the comments below. Anyways, what do I think of this episode? Well, I think it's one of my favorite episodes of Season 4, and definitely an underrated gem, like I've said. I think my favorite moment is when one of the paint buckets, like, splashes onto Henry, like, just falls on Henry's dome. And the painter, like, falls off the ladder, and he falls on Henry, and I'm sorry, I just love the crash moments in Thomas and Friends, and the accents as well. It's always satisfying seeing them, like, do insane stuff with these models, but always have to fix them when they're damaged. Like, do you see why I love the model series so much? Yeah, I'm just being a little biased. I really love the classic series a lot. I do like the white buffers and the sides here. Now, again, he's just similar to the normal Gordon, but different. But yeah, I thought Thomas Meets the Queen was a pretty nice episode. And I do think maybe like either that or Thomas's Special Letter could have been a pretty good Series 4 finale. They just have to like move Mind That Bike somewhere on the list of episodes going chronologically. Because they first introduced the narrow gauge engines in the first half, but had the second half focus on the standard gauge engines, which I think is pretty clever. Now, what I do think would have been cooler is if, like, they actually put 4 little engines as the first episode, and, like, save Grandpuff for, like, later. Because, like, it would be cool, like, if Duke was, like, being foreshadowed, and then, like, we get to see him later in the season. And you start off with Skarloey and Rhaenyra as the main characters of Season 4. And then we might find out, like, Sir Handel and Peter Sam were painted different colors and, like, had different names. That would have been, like, I think that would have made more sense than just have, like, the darkest story be, like, the first episode, which, don't get me wrong, Grandpuff is amazing. Like, top 10 for sure. Like, saddest backstories, because, like, Duke has a sad backstory, but then again, a lot of other cartoon characters have a sad backstory as well. If you could think of someone, let me know. But yeah, not much to say about this one. It's pretty cool, and I love Thomas Meets the Queen. It's definitely one of my favorite Season 4 episodes. And this is an episode I'd recommend the most. Okay, now I think I've saved the best for last. And this really shouldn't be a surprise to, like, anyone, because, like, everyone seems to love this episode. And that is Escape from Season 3. Again, Season 3 is awesome. But here we have the scrapped Oliver from the episode Escape. And like I said, everyone has, like, said that this episode was very great and underrated. And I totally agree. Oliver has to be one of my favorite characters of the show, like, hands down. I think he's a little bit better than Duck, because at least he doesn't, like, save the Great Western Railway over and over again. Yeah, I think Oliver has a sadder backstory than Duck, and I love Toad Stands By, like I've already mentioned, because, like, dude, I think Oliver has a great character arc in the entirety of Thomas and Friends. And here he is next to the original Oliver, and you can see how beautiful it is, like, taking an engine who is going to be scrapped and later restoring him to his former glory. Like, those are always some of my favorite episodes. Same reason why I love Rusty to the Rescue and the movie Hero of the Rails. Like, I always love it when people make YouTube videos of, like, taking an old object and then restoring it to its former glory. Like, it's so satisfying. And if you like things being restored, tell me in the comments below. Like, I think Oliver should be pretty lucky that Douglas was there to save the day, and I think it was a nice arc for Douglas as well, since I think he has a fear of scrap as well. But then he remembered about Edward saving Trevor, and now Douglas is basically the new Edward, saving Oliver from scrap. And can we all agree that Oliver's theme in Escape was one of the best, like, pieces of music in history? Like, that song, like, that instrumental still slaps to this day. It slaps harder than a truck. Like, it's amazing, and it's very catchy. I love it. I love Escape. I love this episode. I love Oliver. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I'll stop. Anyways, he's basically... No, wait. He's a little different. Like, I think I had to, like, weather him up a bit, like, with the brown paint. But he still looks pretty great as well. We don't have scrapped Toad, but we have scrapped Oliver, which I really love. Like, this has to be one of the best episodes, hands down. Okay, well, that took a little bit of a shorter time to explain what these engines are from, but I think I did a pretty good job. Like I said, Most of these episodes are underrated classics, and they definitely hold up to this day. Still not salty about the green controller, though. And I hope to make that episode better soon. Anyways, let me know which one of these trains you loved the most. Like, which one was your favorite? Personally, I gotta say, like, I love these three because, like I said, Really Useful Party, Paint Pots and Queens, and Escape are definitely underrated classics, in my opinion, and I can see why a lot of people love them so much. So anyways, I think that'll do it. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for part 3. See you then!